This afternoon or evening, if you're in Korea, Zambia took on South Korea in the Adidas Four Nation Invitational Tournament. Of course, Zambia won their first game by 2-0. But today, I don't know what to call it, but Saluti, would it be correct to call it a calamitous fall from grace? Beaten 4-1 by South Korea, the host nation.
Well, Zita, it explains. I don't think that it was calamitous. I think that, if anything, we should thank Korea for that result. I think that it was, in my opinion, a wake-up call. In Bemba we say umwana ashenda atashani no kunai. So you can be beating young boys in your neighborhood, and use it. You can think that you are a strong man. And when you meet a guy from Mansa, where I come from, that's when you get to know that, in fact, there are stronger people there. So I think that what has happened today is, is a good thing in football, especially that we have not yet gone to the World Cup. This is a preparatory match, and, a negative result as it may be, can actually be positive depending on how you look at it. So thank you, Korea, for showing us the lapses that that we still have. And what this is going to do is that it is going to open our eyes. We are going to see those lapses. Especially when we tend to analyze the way the under-20 has been playing. On this platform, we've seen a lot of deficiencies which we have actually talked about, and it was good we got that result.
Okay, so this man is also a coach, so great. Now, Linus, I looked at the highlights for Zambia versus Ecuador, won that one 2-0, but coming into the South Korea game, would you say it would be a bit hypocritical to say maybe the signs were there, but we're just not being punished, or the quality of opposition wasn't good enough to make our deficiencies self-evident?
It's a yes and no answer, because look, the quality has just changed. Why? Because it's a different region. People that we've never played against. We've played in Africa, we've played against fellow Africans. We know, the physical aspect of the game. But I believe I was following the game via Facebook. I think the Deputy General Secretary was, posting. Each time there was, we went down, he'd post a comment and stuff. So I was following it. And what I got from that was that, okay, yes, these boys are playing at a different level in terms of we've never faced maybe a pacey team. Maybe these boys are, tactically superior than we were. So I think it's a learning curve for us, because going to the World Cup, that is the kind of opposition we'll face. We'll face boys that have been playing maybe together for quite some time from the youth system. Yes, our boys maybe play together at under 17, but these are boys that have been taught the basics from day one.
Now, talking about basics. Now, gentlemen, there's one thing that everyone was posting on Facebook who had the chance to see how well-oiled the Korean team is that they have got pace, and pace in abundance, and that was the tool we're using to torment opponents at the just-ended tournament that we hosted. Really? How do you train against speed, Linus? How?
How do you train against speed? Oh, look...
I ask you that question because I'm sure up to now scientists are still in the lab looking for how you're going to stop opacity.
Speed, it depends on how high you push up, because you can reduce the speed of a team by not pushing up. The defense by not pushing up. If maybe you lose a ball, you retreat in a block. There's so many, I think, different types of way of playing against a team that's pacey. And I think the technical staff will look at that going to the tournament and all these preparatory matches, because a pacey team, you can't play a high defense, high line. You know that they're going to punish you.
But we love to do so. We like playing the 4-3-3. Mayembe is going up. Prosper Chiloya is going up. Everyone wants to attack. 2 attacking midfielders, 3 strikers. Salute.
Well, if you look at the way coach Beston usually plays, is one kind of a person who likes attacking. I think that if you look at the way we played Guinea in the first, the first game at the Africa Cup, you find that I think it was in fact in all the games, because if you look at we were using Patson Daka, we used Patson Daka, Luchanga, Fashion Sakala,
And Edward
Chilufi. All these are attack-minded players, and even Enoch Mwep, whom we used as a single defensive midfielder in that particular game. All these are attack-minded, and I think you saw that even in that particular game we struggled a bit until he brought in Emmanuel Banda to cushion that kind of a system. But I think that throughout the tournament we were an attacking team, okay? And so like Linus is actually saying, if you meet a pacey team also, which is which is as pacey as you are, now it
with the same propensity to attack,
yes,
like
you, yes. Now it boils down to the tactics.
Exactly.
And like he's saying, these are boys who've been taught tactics from day one. And so maybe we were deficient in terms of tactics. We may be, at the same standard in terms of talent and everything, but maybe in terms of tactics.
Let's deal with the pink elephant in the room first, Linus.
Yeah.
So we like to attack. You've been a striker before. Now, to what extent you could be a striker playing in that 4-3-3, whether you're playing as a wing forward or as that number 9? To what extent do you want to get back behind the ball?
It's it's always a challenge.
How many strikers are
it's
hardworking?
It's always a challenge, but if you can get that, these boys are young. That's the beauty about it. Are young and can be taught, can be trained. They're still very energetic. So I think it can work. They can be taught to say, look, you need to track back. They're not, over 25 or they're not 30. So it's something that they can do, because you see, with the game they played and the loss, it is, like he said, like my colleague said, it's a wake-up call. And I strongly believe they will adjust. They will adjust. I mentioned something about, dropping and the tactics, playing
and
as
the line.
And the high line. I strongly believe that, I know the technical staff is doing their homework. And something that did not happen during the tournament is we use the same team. So I believe maybe this time around, they're giving everyone a run. That is something that will also help us, because, look, their boys, Daka is gone, he's not there. These other players are not there. So maybe also we must not, point an accusing finger or shoot them down for that result.
But
in fact, it's just two players who are missing. Just
Fashion and Patson.
In fact, the two main attackers, the core of the team is
there. That's the core of the team. But I'm also wondering, Linus, to what extent you've played in many teams in the past.
Yeah.
Many a time, your number 9 may not have a lot of defensive liability. So is that guy who's the playmaker, maybe your color in the Chipolo, whoever makes the turbines turn for the team, that player gotta track back. If you look at that 4-3-3 system, whether you're Emmanuel Banda, you're Fashion Sakala or Edward Chilufa, you have to get back behind the ball. But how much fuel are you going to allocate to say, Edward, I want you to get back behind the ball, but at the same time, Edward, I want you to attack, for example?
CJ, it's about shapes. Look, there are certain training methods. We're talking about tactics. There are certain training methods. I, for one, have experienced that, where, this is the reason I said these boys are young. They can do it. There are players that when in our generation, there were players that were, plus 20 and doing the same. Initially, it was difficult even for people like me. Those systems, we played those systems before at a higher level. But you find that these boys are young. There's no way a young boy who's under 20, can fail to run, 25 meters?
Back and forth.
Their heart is still pumping. Unlike someone who's 30 plus. So I believe they can do it.
So there shouldn't be any sport brats in that team, tactically.
No.
Everyone gets back behind the ball when we lose.
It is about, it's a mental aspect where they have to be talked to, they have to be told, this is the shape. We lose the ball, we come back into this shape. It's going to be about tactics. Discipline, if they don't discipline, then we'll have problems. But if they can, you saw how they go forward, how we used to go forward. We go forward like bees. We just, we swarm forward smoothly. We go through. But The challenge would be the
The
level
transition.
is the transition, because the level that they're going to be playing at the World Cup is one mistake, you're punished. Two mistakes, you're punished. Remember 99? Brazil? I rest my case.
Now, talking about going forward, I like to go forward, and I'm sure even from a supporter's point of view, that's what they like to see, a team that goes forward. Now, look at the average Zambians. There's under 20 team that we have. The three have got license to attack normal. The two attacking midfielders got attack, and you've got Prosper Chilo and Shemi Mayembe, who also have some degree of license to attack. That only leaves three players at the back. And then there's a little matter of the fragmentation of the lines. When all these players go forward, the lines fragment, and again you're saying you're playing a pacey team, you can't leave that much space behind.
Yes,
So what do you do at that point?
Tactics.
Well, it's like we said again, it's the tactics. But again, Zita, you have to realize that throughout the tournament, we, especially in the channels, we left a lot of space. Okay, and so if you are playing a team that has been described as Korea was today, they would utilize that space, and like Lino said, they get a chance, they bury it. That was what we just kept hearing. Oh, Korea has scored. Korea has scored.
We have equalized.
Yes. If you look at the South African game, for instance, it was a pity that we were not beaten in the same way that Korea beat us, because they had about how many chances clear? About maybe 5.
Myriad of opportunities,
yes.
and probably failed to make anything.
Failed to make out of that. But when we had a chance, like we are saying, in offense, we are very good. we got the goal, and we actually qualified. But that cannot actually happen at the World Cup for a long time. It can happen, I think, in the preliminaries. Preliminaries, first round, I think it can happen. But if you go to the second round, you go to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, the competition, it's just too stiff.
And just to chip in, look, we're talking about tactics, right? How we might play. I believe if our boys can keep the ball the way they were doing, if you're playing a pace team, deny them the ball, slow them down.
Yes.
That is, and we're good at keeping the ball. It should be inculcated in the minds of the players. Do not lose the ball. You lose the ball, do not lose the ball.
And if you forget, go back to that rule. Do not lose the ball. But I want to ask you this question. We like playing progressive football. Our players,
Absolutely.
Edward Chilufya will get the ball and look at whoever is in front of him.
Go
and
skin him.
Yeah, skin him. I'm just thinking, at that point, could this be the time we say, fundamentally, let's deal with the real devil in the details. Maybe we need an extra man in midfield to do the defensive chores. The issue of having Mwepu and Emmanuel Banda playing that attacking role may not be sustainable. You need an extra, the second anchor man. Who's that man? If at all, this is the remedy to this situation.
And that's that's a question that I believe the coaches are looking at right now, where they are, because this is the reason why these games are there. You preparing for a tournament, you gotta have backup, 4 formations, 2 when situations change, because you find that first minute you're 1-0 or 2-0. How do you come back? Or first minute you're 2-0 up. How do you just play?
Sustain that.
How do you sustain it? Do you just play an open game against a team that if you open up the game? He mentioned something about the beginning. The first and second game. I think for us, those will be very cardinal. Those 2 games will be very cardinal.
The Portuguese lie in wait, gentlemen.
Yes, and they may not be so different in terms of tactics from the Koreans. I think one point we are actually emphasizing, not that we are actually taking any credit from our boys also, no. But we are trying to look at the kind of opposition that we have. These are boys in Portugal. It's a developed country, as you know. And so these are boys who go to academies at a very tender age. They are taught these tactics. The tactics that we get to learn about here, maybe when you are 18, they learned about those maybe when they were 9, or 10. Okay, so they are an embodiment themselves of tactics. Okay, and so they may be at a particular higher level, but that not to say that we cannot actually beat them. Like you're saying, we have talent,
and I think
in abundance. All we need
work ethic.
Work ethic. Okay.
Work ethic.
Okay, let's talk about work ethic and probably what we need to do. Now, Linus, we've lost this game, and I'm sure for the first time, even against South Africa, our team was pointing fingers at each other, and I'm sure today, probably they're sleeping now, but in their dream, they're still pointing fingers at each other. That person didn't do this. That person didn't do this. The crux of the matter is that sometimes you meet an opponent that cancels out your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C. Cancelled. What do you do at that point?
Plan D.
If you had it.
You're a coach.
If you had it.
You're a coach. You're a coach. You know what I'm talking about. You can't have just 3 plans. You can't have plan A, plan B. I mean, you got to have a backup no matter what happens.
Are you confident we have a response? Based on what we've been able to see so far.
Of course.
Or maybe
we do.
The response has to be worked on, or it's there. It's just in the fridge.
The response is being worked on because these games that they've gone are preparatory games. The result, yes, it's a result. The result, like the one we got today, I believe is for the boys. It's for the boys. I know not for the technical team. No, for the boys. It's a wake-up call. Do you know what winning does? Anyone, any player, you just get carried away and you become complacent. Complacency creeps in. And when complacency creeps in, and my colleague here mentioned that it's a good time to lose. Because,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now, good thing, gentlemen. One thing that has been constant about this team, and I like it, even when the game is locked shut, it's looking tough, everything is looking bad. When we get a set piece, we're able to make use of it. Today was testament of that one. Again, Emmanuel Banda, got a free kick near the touchline, drove in an in-swinging cross and was met by the head of Edward Chilufya. Fantastic clip, but yeah, we've gotten a go again. We bailed out of a game that was looking impossible against South Africa as well. You need to give credit to what Beston Chembesh has done to this team. They are able to get goals from set pieces. But the trouble is that we're only able to get 1 goal.
Well, Zite, I think that, like you said, that is one area that we really must credit ourselves for. Set pieces, if you saw in the same game you referred to in South Africa, against South Africa, we got that chance, a very good dive from Patson Daka, and we converted. But maybe before I forget, Zite, our coach needs to find a way of playing without Patson Daka. He has to find a way of playing without Patson Daka, and this I'm stressing, because if you look at the tournament from day 1 to the last day, Patson Daka was involved in each and every goal.
I thought you were going to say and Emmanuel Banda. would agree with you.
Well, first I'm talking about Patson Daka. Because Emmanuel Banda, I'm coming to him later. But in each and every goal that we actually scored, he had a touch in it. And that's why, it was not surprising he was man of the tournament. Okay? Indirectly or directly, he was actually involved. It's either he drew the defenders to himself and gave chance to other players to maneuver and get a goal, or he scored the goal himself. So we need to have another player who plays like Patson Daka as plan B. Because will actually be saying every time, I know it's because Patson Daka was not in there, that's why we lost. And that should never happen at a level at which we are. We should also find a player who is as good as Fashion Sakala, for instance. A player who is as good as Emmanuel Banda.
And I concur, because I mentioned that this tournament, what's happening is where they've gone is to prepare the other lads. Apparently, it's the same team, but we need...
The core is the same.
Yeah, we need to bring in players that not because of competition, yes, it should be competition, but should fill the boots. And it's up to the coaches, the technical bench, to put in the minds of the players to say, you can do it as well. Give them that opportunity and confidence to say, you can do it as well. Look, Fashion Sakala is in Russia. He's got the exposure. It's now time for someone else to step into his shoes while he's away. So that because look, people are watching, they watch the tournament. People are doing their homework. Teams are doing their homework on Zambia. They're doing our group. We've got Portugal. They are watching. Also. If we mark, he pointed out, if we mark Patson Daka, we know Zambia then won't score. But we need to find someone else within the team. Doesn't have to play like Patson Daka. Play differently.
Yes,
Needs
exactly.
to give us a different
dimension. Yes.
Tactical formation.
Ingredient.
Which
you were speaking about
something
that we've done so well. Score from set pieces. I think we have to work even harder on them, because set pieces will win you games. They change games, deadlock games that are deadlocked.
Yeah.
You can have a set piece in the first minute, you score, and the game just dies.
Close.